On the news tonight, Ondo State government mounts collaborative efforts at clamping down on vehicle owners without valid particulars. Opposition senators issue ultimatum to President Buhari to tackle insecurity or face impeachment. Inspector General of Police orders watertight security around Abuja, Nigeria's capital, amid terror threats. And from the foreign scene, wildfires render hundreds homeless in Greece. Thank you very much for joining us on the news at 7. I am Oyewumi Ayenigbara. The Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS, has collaborated with the Federal Road Safety Corps, vehicle inspection officers, VIOs, as well as other security agencies in the state to clamp down on owners of vehicles without valid particulars. The move is aimed at checkmating the increase of vehicles with illegal and odd number plates in the state and the need to ensure the safety and security of road users. Senators from opposition parties have issued a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle the security challenges bedeviling Nigeria. They also threatened to commence the impeachment proceedings against the president should he fail to address the insecurity within the period given by the lawmakers. The minority leader of the Senate, Senator Philip Aduda, made the position of the lawmakers known today while briefing reporters at the National Assembly in Abuja, the nation's capital. Meanwhile, the senators staged a walkout following a call to impeach President Muhammadu Buhari. This followed a night drama that played out during the plenary in the upper chamber of the National Assembly in Abuja. The minority leader of the Senate, Senator Philip Aduda, had raised a point of order asking the Senate President Ahmed Lawan to discuss the security situation in the country and the impeachment of President Buhari. But Senator Lawan, who presided over the plenary, declined the request of the minority leader, saying the point of order raised fell flat on its face. Angered by this action of the Senate President, all the lawmakers elected on the platforms of all political parties other than the All Progressives Congress APC took turns to walk out of the legislative chamber while the plenary was ongoing. In the meantime, human rights activist Professor Chidi Odinkalu has criticized President Muhammadu Buhari's administration of Ali Baba has ordered the deployment of additional forces to strategic areas in the Federal Capital Territory. Force Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi gave the information in a statement amid concerns over security breaches in some parts of Abuja, the nation's capital. He said the police chief has also charged the Force Intelligence Bureau to ensure robust information gathering. According to Adejobi, the police are not leaving any stone unturned to fortify the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. He called on residents of the FCT to synergize with the police and all the security agencies to forestall any breach of security in the nation's capital. The 2022 call to bar ceremony has been held with hundreds of new lawyers inducted into the legal profession. A total of 1,507 graduates from the Nigerian Law School adorned with wig and robe as new lawyers at the event organized by the body of benchers. While 1,501 of the lawyers are fresh graduates, the remaining 6 are from the previous call. The event at the multipurpose hall of the Nigerian Law School in Buhari, Abuja, had in attendance various professionals in the judiciary sector. They include the chairman of the body of benches, Wole Olanipekun SAN, former Justice of the Supreme Court and Vice Chairman of the body, Justice Mary Odili, and the Director General of the Nigerian Law School, Professor Isa Chirima, among others. The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC today continued its protest in Abuja over the prolonged strike by university workers across the country. This comes 24 hours after a similar demonstration held in various states of the Federation except in the Federal Capital Territory FCT. The protest began at about 9:30 a.m. after members of the NLC leadership and leaders of various affiliated unions, as well as members, converged on the Unity Fountain in the nation's capital. Among those physically present were the NLC President Ayuba Waba, ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osrc, and the immediate past President of the Academic Union, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, among others. There was also a heavy security presence at the venue of the protest, mostly made up of personnel of the Nigerian police. The protesters' plan marched to the National Assembly, where the NLC President would deliver a message from the labor unions to the lawmakers. You're still watching Osrc News. At 7 up ahead, wildfire rendered 100 homeless in Greece. Please to join us then. Glad to have you back on the news. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook, Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, Osrc TV Ondo. And now back to the full report on the ODIRS enforcement. And we told you earlier that the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS, has collaborated with the Federal Road Safety Corps, vehicle inspection officers, VIOs, as well as other security agencies in the state to clamp down on owners of vehicles without valid particulars. The move is aimed at checkmating the increase of vehicles with illegal and odd number plates in the state and the need to ensure the safety and security of road users. Joy Pius completes the story.
Staff of the Ondo State Internal Revenue Service, ODIRS, collaborated with the Vehicle Inspection Officers, VIOs, and the Federal Road Safety Corps, as well as other security agencies in the state, for an enforcement exercise in Akure, the Ondo State capital. The team took to major roads in Akure metropolis, stopping and checking vehicle particulars of motorists, both commercial and private vehicles. The state licensing officer at the Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Samuel Olajide, explained that the exercise is aimed at ensuring that only worthy vehicles ply on those state roads, adding that the move will help in safeguarding lives of residents of the state.
The law is very clear that all vehicles that must be on the road should have valid documents, and again they must be registered, and the drivers as well must have valid driver's license. And what we are trying to do is to enforce compliance, and again coupled with the fact that the security situation of the country now, there is need for us to embark on this exercise to ensure that the vehicles that are on our roads are complying with the road tax law.
The commanding officer, Ondo State Vehicle Inspection Office, Mr. Adeniyi Adilegun, while harping on the importance of collaborating with other agencies, urged motorists to acquire vehicle licenses as and when due.
The reason why we are collaborating with other agencies is because, as we are many here now, none of them can have a way of dodging or avoiding us on the way. So we have a formidable force here that every vehicle that will pass through this place today will be contravened, and they will be given an opportunity to do the needful.
A road user, Kikelemo Arifalo, commended the move of government, stating that it will help in curbing unnecessary embarrassments.
It's okay, at least everybody should be licensed to drive, because nowadays we have a lot of reckless drivers. If they are licensed, that means at least they've, undergone the normal test, normal training. So it's okay. And this thing should be continual. It should be continual.
Okay,
But me, I travel a lot. That's I always ensure that my papers are in order.
With this exercise, motorists in the state are expected to update their particulars to avoid their vehicles being impounded. Joy Pius, OSRC News.
And now, a stalwart of the All Progressives Congress APC in Ondo State, Prince Olu Adigboro, is dead. Prince Adigboro died in the early hours of today. He was a former Commissioner for Information and Orientation under the Adebayo Adefarati administration. A community leader and a political icon in Akure, Ondo State capital, Adigboro was the publisher of defunct Odua Voice. Meanwhile, Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has described the death of Prince Olu Adigboro as a big loss to the state and the All Progressives Congress APC. Governor Akeredolu, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary Richard Olatunde, said he received the news of the death of the APC chieftain with great sadness and real shock. The governor described late Adigboro as a man of many parts whose political trajectory exemplified consistency and discipline. Governor Akeredolu commiserated with the entire Adigboro family, the APC, friends and acquaintances of the late Prince Olu Adigboro, praying that the Almighty God grant his soul rest in perfect peace. In the meantime, Ondo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has lamented the demise of Prince Olu Adigboro, describing him as a disciplined and selfless politician as well as a rallying point of the state chapter. State chairman of the party, Ade Adetsime, in a statement by the publicity secretary, Mr. Alex Kalijayi, expressed shock at the sad news. Adetsime described the departure as end of an era that of the founding fathers of Nigeria and the new generation. The party chieftain observed that late Adigboro served without blemish as a commissioned officer in the Nigerian Army, a vocal student union leader, an information commissioner in Ondo State. The statement prayed that God should grant him an eternal rest. Also, Ondo State Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu has visited and condoled with the family of the late APC chieftain Prince Oluwole Adigboro. The governor, who led members of the State Executive Council and some party faithful to the residence of the deceased at Obaile in Akure, said the passing of the APC chieftain is a colossal loss to the party. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankoli has details.
The Obaile home of late APC chieftain Oluwole Adigboro has continued to receive dignitaries and sympathizers following the death of the state's former Commissioner for Information and Orientation. The latest to identify with the deceased family at this difficult time is the governor of Ondo State, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. The governor, who described the death of Chief Adigboro as a colossal loss to the party, the state and Akure community, said his contributions will be greatly missed.
He will come out talking, fearing in his talk, and insisting on what he believed was right. We have lost someone very great in APC, very great in Akure, and he served him to the last. And we are thankful that he served his people.
According to him, the party has lost one of its foremost leaders in Akure South local government area.
We can never forget him. I know of maybe others can, but I cannot. I came into politics here and I met him. And we worked together on the very first time I came. And we come into this house. And my last house is where he will come. All of us will meet here, discuss about politics. And because of his support for us, he was the founding interim secretary of APC. He was the founding interim secretary of APC. And I was then the founding interim chairman. He and I, the wife APC, before the now substantive officers.
Responding on behalf of the family, Prince Folagbade Adegboro described the demise of late Adegboro as shocking. Prince Oluwole Adegboro died at age 74.
And now many more sympathizers have continued to pay condolence visits to the home of the seized chieftain of the All Progressives Congress APC and former Commissioner for Information and Orientation in Ondo State, Prince Olu Adegboro. Osrc Said Aribisala was also there and now reports the mood.
Born on 18th December 1948, Prince Olu Adegboro had his last breath in the early hours of Wednesday, July the 27th. As the news went viral, sympathizers thronged the Obaile resident of the former Ondo State Commissioner for Information during the administration of former Governor Adebayo Adefarati.
He took good care of all his children. He took care of them. He was not joking with their school fees and whatever needed. He was not joking with anything.
On the lips of many was a testimony that the Akure-born Prince Adegboro lived a selfless life for the development of his immediate society and Nigeria at large.
Baba is one of our foremost political leaders in Akure South local government. A very intelligent person, a great advisor, and a pillar of APC in Akure South local government and also in Ondo State.
Among the early callers were members of the All Progressives Congress and political associates who described late Adegboro as one who provided purposeful leadership across political divides.
Shocking, shocking. God, I did not expect it at all, not at this time. I know he has not been too well for some time, but I didn't think it would lead to this, to what has happened. It's really unfortunate, but like all matters, at one point or the other, you have to go. And so it is. Thank God he has left his mark.
It's a pity that we have to talk about him in past tense. He's been our leader for years. And he's someone who is so cool-headed. He doesn't lie. He will tell you as it is, no matter how hot you are. He will tell you this is the position of things and this is how he can do it. And it's a pity that we lost him.
Prince Olu Adegboro, whose political exposure began around 1969, having been actively part of student unionism at the University of Ife, his family is expected to unveil funeral plans later. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
And may so rest in peace. Now, the All Progressives Congress APC has selected Senator Abdullahi Gobir as its new Senate leader. This decision by the ruling party was contained in a letter by the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu and read by Senate President Amel Lawan during the plenary session. Senator Gabriel replaces Senator Yahya Abdullahi following his resignation as Senate leader and defection from the APC to the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC Anambra State chapter has kicked against the continuous adoption and appointment of local government caretaker chairman in Anambra State instead of conducting elections. The party described the action as illegal and provocative, a move it said started from the administrations of former governors Peter Obi and Willie Obiano. In a statement, the Anambra State Publicity Secretary of APC, Okelo Madukaife, said caretaker government are illegal and a clear constitutional violation. The APC therefore advised the current administrations of Soludo not to go ahead with the intention of appointing caretaker chairman and councillors and conduct elections in the 21 local government areas of the state. On the foreign scene, at least 15 people have been killed on the second day of anti-nations protest in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's turbulent northeastern region in attacks UN Chief Antonio Guterres said could constitute a war crimes. Protests erupted on Monday as crowds took to the streets of North Kivu province's main city, Goma against the country's UN mission. Demonstrations spread further north to the town of Beni and Bumtembo on Tuesday. Oladoyin Ayigbusi completes the story.
Another charged day in Goma, in North Kivu province. Dozens of Congolese protesters are demanding the UN peacekeeping mission called MONUSCO to leave the country. The military and police have been called to help contain the situation. The UN personnel are being relocated. The trouble began on Monday after a logistics base was attacked. People threw stones, looted office equipment and other material. This is what was left after it was ransacked. Other UN bases have also been targeted.
We've been watching the UN mission since the start. They have the logistical capacity they need. What are they doing with that? This is why we need to kick them out.
The relationship between some Congolese and UN has been tensed at best. The protesters say the UN has failed to protect them from frequent attacks. The UN peacekeeping mission in Democratic Republic of Congo has had a presence here for more than 20 years. Despite this, more than 100 rebel groups in the east control the vast region that is rich in minerals.
I came to protest against MONUSCO. It has been years since the mission came to Congo. Many Congolese have been killed in the east.
People in Goma are fleeing again to safer areas until the situation gets better. Many Congolese say they are tired, they want peace, and if the UN cannot provide stability, then its forces need to leave. Oladoyin Ayigbusi, Osrc News.
And still on the foreign scene, Greece has seen large wildfires in recent days on its island to Lesbos that displaced hundreds of people. But many Greeks don't have assurance to protect them from damage to their property. In a country of more than 105 million people, only about 15% have home insurance. Saeed Aribisala has more.
This is the aftermath of peak wildfire season in Greece. In this picturesque town, about 30 kilometers north of Athens, there is an eerie quiet as people take stock of what has been lost. Hectares of land burned and homes destroyed. 24-year-old Ariavni lived in this house her entire life with her family. On July 20th, within the span of an hour, everything her family had was gone.
So this was the living room, and here was the table where we used to eat.
Ariavni's family home is the only house in this area that was destroyed.
And there was a studio there with drums and guitars.
This house is one of the many homes in the country that is not insured. According to the Hellenic Association of Insurance Companies, only 15% of homes in Greece have insurance.
No. Why not? Because we didn't think that it would happen to us. But it did, so it can happen to anyone.
That's not the only reason most people here don't insure their houses. Maria Polemba owns one of the oldest and biggest insurance agency in Athens. According to our agency's figure, since wildfire started destroying homes in the past 2 years, there has only been about a 2 to 3% increase in insurance contracts.
I think the main reason is that they haven't understood how valuable their property is. Only when they lose it they understand. And also they have not realized how inexpensive it is to have home insurance. If they comprehend that home insurance costs roughly €1 per square meter per year, I believe that most Greek people would consider insuring their homes.
One of the other main issues here is the government has not been able to mandate the purchase of home insurance. Most properties in Greece are passed on through family inheritance, so most people don't have mortgages. That means they are not legally forced to purchase home insurance. Sahir Aribisala, Osrc News.
European Union nations have agreed to ration gas as Russia announced another cut to supply, sending prices up once again. Russia's state energy giant Gazprom said it will further slash supplies through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline to Germany down to 20% of capacity. Russia blames the issue on a faulty gas turbine sent to Canada for maintenance. EU leaders say the latest shortfall is politically motivated. Oladoyin Ayigbusi has more.
The energy crisis looming over Europe dominated the meeting of EU's minister in Brussels. Rationing gas ahead of winter, the best and only way to reduce the EU's reliance on Russian energy.
45 BCM corresponds to a 15% cut in our usual gas consumption between the beginning of August and the end of March. That's why we have pointed to this percentage as the target all member states should strive forward.
Russia is said to further reduce supplies through the Nord Stream pipelines, blaming a technical fault at one of their stations, something EU ministers dispute.
As of today, there is no solution to the ongoing equipment issues at the Portiavea compressor station. There is no solution whatsoever yet. Siemens is saying nothing. They're trying to find solutions, but there are none.
As the West and Russia exchange economic blows in response to Russia's war in Ukraine, European leaders say Moscow is not a trustworthy partner.
The winter is coming, and we don't know how cold it will be, but what we know for sure that Putin will continue to play his dirty games in misusing and blackmailing by gas supplies.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says Europe is already at war with Russia, just on a different front.
All this is done by Russia on purpose to make it as difficult as possible for Europeans to prepare for winter. And this is an open gas war that Russia is waging against a united Europe. This is precisely how it should be perceived, and they don't care what will happen to the people or how they will suffer, from hunger due to the blockading of ports, or from winter cold and poverty, or from occupation. These are just different forms of terror.
Nearly half of all the gas Europe needs comes from Russia. The supply is now down to a relative trickle. Oladoyin Ayegbusi, Osrc News.
And that concludes the news tonight, but before we go, a quick look at the major stories. In the news, we told you that the Ondo State government, through the State Internal Revenue Service, has formed synergy with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRC, vehicle inspection officers, as well as security agencies in clamping down on vehicle owners without valid particulars. According to government, the move is to further enhance protection of lives and properties of residents. Senators from opposition parties have given President Muhammadu Buhari 6 weeks to tackle Nigeria's security challenges or risk impeachment. The developments played out at the plenary today. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Akali Baba, has ordered intensive security measures around strategic places in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. The move is coming on the heels of the terror threat to the nation's capital. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.